Good morning. This is a new channel, Golden State Railroad Videos, and we're just north of LATON, California, which is about 30 miles south of Fresno, and it's 12:07, and we're on the Santa Fe main line, and Amtrak also uses these tracks. And we usually have a train about every hour. We'll see what happens in the next hour. And I just want to give you a quick pan around so you can see what the area looks like. And the California high-speed rail is being constructed near here. Later we'll do a video on that. And then on this side, this is facing east, there's an orchard, some kind of fruit trees. And then heading north, you can see it's pretty agricultural. There's a big cell tower over there. Now the Fresno area rail scene, we've basically got three players. We've got Burlington Northern Santa Fe, Amtrak, Union Pacific, and I should say four because we have the San Joaquin Valley Railroad, and that's a small railroad that services just freight, and it just services some of the smaller communities in the area. And we can do a separate video on their operations. You won't see them on the Santa Fe main line, obviously. So there's lots to film in Fresno. There are UP and Santa Fe rail yards, fairly substantial. And as I said, Amtrak has regular services between Bakersfield and Emeryville, and you connect at Emeryville to San Francisco. It's about a 20-minute bus ride from Emeryville to San Francisco. So that's the basics. And as I said, there is high-speed rail construction right near here, and we can do a video on that. They don't expect to have any trains running for at least 5 years, but there's a lot of construction. They've done a lot of impressive work, and that's well worth shooting. So we'll just wait and see what we come up with. I should also mention that in Modesto they have a small freight railroad that services the industrial park area of Modesto. So that's another option. They have some pretty nice equipment. It looks new to me. And then of course there's a lot of grain elevators around here because they have to feed the dairy cows, and they have their own rail set up to move the grain cars around. So they don't necessarily go anywhere, but they move stuff around in the vicinity of the grain elevators. Amtrak is running a lot of trains with the Challenger engine, or Charger, I'm sorry, not Challenger, Charger engine, which is built by Siemens. And I've seen other rail videos which show that same engine in wide use in Europe. And some of the Amtrak trains are pulled by GE older units. And we may see that, or we may see the Chargers. And then the Amtrak operations are push-pull, so they head to Emeryville, sometimes with the engine in the front, and then so they don't have to turn the train around when they get there. They actually go to Oakland, I believe, but so they don't have to turn the train around at their final destination. They just operate from what would be the last car northbound becomes the first car southbound. So it's a push-pull operation. Some of the commuter railroads in the LA area and San Francisco do the same thing. I kind of doubt I'll be going to LA to film commuter rail down there. More likely San Francisco. They have what's called the Caltrain, which goes between San Francisco and Gilroy, and they are going to electrify that whole portion. Right now they're running diesels on that route. And then about 3 hours away in the San Luis Obispo area, what we call the Central Coast, Amtrak runs quite a few trains. The most famous is the Coast Starlight, which goes from Los Angeles to Seattle. They've got sleeper cars and observation car. It's a little bit far for our purposes of this channel, but you never know. Maybe I'll get over there and film it. I have ridden on it a short distance. Very nice train. Another thing I would like to do is go up to Madera, California, which is about 20 miles due north of Fresno. And they have some of the infrastructure from the coal steam burning days that's still it's still by the tracks, so you can see that. I'll try to film that. It's right by the Amtrak station. I'm pretty sure it's Madera and not Merced, but I'll double check. But that's my recollection. I've used that station before and I remember seeing that. And of course the Amtrak route on these tracks was, years ago, before Amtrak came into existence in the 70s, the Southern Pacific ran the Lark, and they had other trains between LA and San Francisco, and so there's many famous trains that ran on this route. I'll just spin around a little bit. Maybe we can see a little bit of the high-speed rail construction. There it is. That's the charger. That's heading to Bakersfield. So we were in luck. It's 12:17. And as you can see, that particular train was being operated from the car, not from the engine. The controls are in the front car. And when they get to Bakersfield, which is about, well, it's an hour and a half by car. I don't think it's that far by train. But when they get there, they will just have the engineer work in the cab and drive it back north. I'm going to stay out here about 10 more minutes, see if we see any Santa Fe freights, and if not, I'll make another attempt on another day.